Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Casa Cuba at Florida International University. My name is Regina Rodriguez. I'm the chair of the Cuban Infrastructure Scholarship Competition, and I'm the president-elect of the Association of Cuban-American Engineers here out of Miami. In my professional role, I currently serve as the Chief Operating Officer for Cuban-American, an environmental engineering research and development firm out of Gainesville, Florida. I'm also a University of Florida graduate. I have the pleasure of welcoming you to the 2019 Cuba Infrastructure Competition. This is a very exciting 10th year in the running, so thank you for being here this morning, and thank you for those of you watching on the web. It is a landmark year for me specifically as a new competition committee chair, and proudly take inventory of major accomplishments for the event, first designed to be a local and a state competition. Building on a solid foundation, we have attracted 4 top higher education institutes from across the United States, in addition to 2 Florida universities that will be presenting here and have presented in the past. The hosting committee for this event is made up of members from 2 sponsoring organizations, the Association of Cuban-American Engineers and the Cuban-American Association of Civil Engineers. I would like to remind everyone that this event is being live broadcasted thanks to Wen and his team online, and is accessible using the YouTube link in your program. Buenos días a todos y bienvenidos a Casa Cuba en la Universidad Internacional de la Florida. Mi nombre es Regina Rodríguez y soy la directora del Comité de la Competencia de Becas y presidenta electa de la Asociación de Ingenieros Cubanos-Americanos. Actualmente tengo la posición de Chief Operating Officer en Cuban-American, una empresa de ingeniería medioambiental y alumna de la Universidad de la Florida. Es un placer hoy darle la bienvenida a la competencia de 2019 para las becas sobre la infraestructura cubana. El comité anfitrión está compuesto de miembros de las 2 organizaciones patrocinadoras, la Asociación de Ingenieros Cubanos-Americanos y la Asociación de Cubanos-Americanos de Ingenieros Civiles. Y muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros hoy. Este año es un año histórico para la competencia, pues hemos logrado atraer muchas universidades fuera de la Florida nacionalmente y encontrar el compromiso final de 4 reconocidas instituciones afuera de la Florida, de los Estados Unidos completo. Queremos recordarle que esta competencia está siendo transmitida en vivo y puede accesar el link en su invitación. El resto de la competencia hoy será de la competencia, y las presentaciones continuarán en inglés. So the Cuban Infrastructure Scholarship Competition is an annual college-wide competition that aims to promote the interest in the future's reconstruction of Cuba's crumbling economy and infrastructure amongst the university-level teams. Joining Gainesville's University of Florida team and Miami's International University are multiple-time competitors in this competition. Since its inception in 2010, are the following first-time participants, and we're very excited to have you here, all the way from Utah, the Brigham Young University, George Mason out of Virginia, Georgia Tech out of Atlanta, Georgia, and the Illinois Institute of Technology out of Illinois. And we even have some from Spain doing some of their work out of Illinois. So thank you for making it all the way down here to Miami today. The 6 teams of finalists are vying for $12,000 in prizes that will be presenting their projects on how to improve Cuba's failing infrastructure currently before our 4 seasoned judges. All of the teams have submitted over the past couple of months real-life project proposals representing hundreds of hours of work. And today they will make their final oral presentation. Ultimately, they and the previous year's team may form part of the reconstruction process of Cuba that we're all aiming for. A nation which has far gone to provide adequate housing, transportation, safe water sources, and a waste management practices with efficient energy systems. So that's really where we want Cuba to be. For those of here in the audience, for our parents, for our grandparents back home, that's really where we want to see Cuba go to. At this time, I would like to recognize the presidents of each organizations and thank them for their support in this program, obviously the members as well. Roger Puerto from the Association of Cuban-Americans Engineers is not able to be here with us today, but he's definitely a champion of all of our great work. And Yvette Aleman leading the Cuban-American Association of Civil Engineers. She too is leading a lot of great work that us as members are very proud of. With respect to our sponsors, we're very, very grateful to Buya Gastrogar, owned by Carlos Sentirium, who has graciously sponsored the Cuban Infrastructure Competition event for several years now with a $20,000 per year sustainable commitment. Many of you may be familiar with the original Buya Gastrobar restaurant out of Coral Gables and now out of Doral and Winter Park. We're also very thankful to Casa CUBA here today at FIU and Maria Carla. Casa CUBA is a new initiative by the Florida International University to build a leading intellectual and cultural center that will foster global understanding of Cuban affairs, culture through education, research and discussion of the arts. So thank you for hosting us here in this wonderful location this morning. Prior to beginning our program, I would like to thank those members of our CISC committee that have worked year-round to plan and host this event. It does take a lot of work, and it does take a lot of reading and looking at the competitors and mentoring a lot of the teams. So the members of our committee are listed in the back of your program, and the commitment from those individuals that are here today and were not able to make it is really outstanding. So a little bit more about the scholarship competition and what it really means and why I personally believe so much in it. And the importance of the competition is about our future, building from our past and those from our family members. And like I mentioned, this is the 10th consecutive year that we've been hosting and been able to organize the CISC. And we're really excited to see the students and professionals that have developed from this process as well, myself included. The goal here is to promote educational advancements and community awareness here that many deficits of the decaying Cuban infrastructure. We hope that more engineering students will become more interested in applying their skills, not just into U.S. problems, but also taking some of these, applying these skills back home into their countries as well. We hope that these students too become part of our young professionals and future of our industry, and will continue to be involved in organizations as part of the future reconstruction of Cuba. The mission of the Cuban Infrastructure Scholarship Competition and its committee is to promote high-level engineering and science that may apply to future improvements of the island and increase public awareness of Cuba's infrastructure needs. And that's really important too, because if we don't know about them, how can we do something as well? So this time I would like to take a moment to recognize our distinguished panel of judges who have dedicated a lot of hours in reading some of these proposals and are here today to provide their guidance and question of how to make these projects better. So the panel of judges combines decades of experience in different infrastructure sectors that the students will be presenting on. So I would like to start with Ingeniero Mario Golab. So thank you so much for being here today. Mario is a registered patent attorney and managing attorney at Golab Intellectual Property. So he brings a lot of interesting thought process in terms of both the engineering side and what it could look like from a a product, a project, and looking at all of those aspects. Mr. Antonio Delgado, the Dean of Engineering, Technology, and Design at Miami-Dade College. So thank you so much for coming here. Mr. Eduardo Vega, President of Apct. Mr. Vega is a long-term judge for our process and has seen the committee and the groups work and develop over the past couple of years. So he'll have a lot of understanding of what has been done in the past. So that's very exciting. And Mr. Mario Villar, electrical engineer and also Juris Doctor. So we have two types of lawyers in our group with engineering backgrounds, so we definitely do appreciate them today. Outside of the judges and the participants here that have traveled all the way down here to Miami today, we could not accomplish this event and the projects without great mentors. Myself, I have very great mentors here in the audience and back home, but the students themselves and how to compose themselves and how to present these projects. So keeping up with the event's traditional structure, industry mentors from across Miami and Florida were secured for each of the teams, and we are very fortunate to have some of them here today and some of them really helping some of the teams. So Ms. Maggie Giraldo from Kimley Horn, Mr. Jose Cueto from Miami-Dade Water and Sewer, Mr. Eric Bolness from ExxonMobil, Mr. Eric Silva from A&P Consulting Transportation, Mr. Pete Martinez from Game Changer Tech, and Dr. Elena Solo Gabriel, professor at the University of Miami. So the mentorship that these individuals provide can be lifelong, so please take advantage of that, and that's definitely what we're building this community surrounded here in this process. So, excuse me. This year we've received a multiple of ABET accredited universities proposals across the U.S. The judges have reviewed the written proposals here to date within the past months, and the proposals will be making 40% of the team's final score today. So from a judging criteria, this today completes the second part of the competition, which is where the teams will be presenting their projects. The oral presentations that will be given today will constitute of 60% of the final score. Each team will have 15 minutes to present their proposal today, followed up with 10 minutes of questions and answers from the judges, and also from the audience here, or those that are viewing live can submit some of their questions on our YouTube link as well. The judges will score the presentations today based on the following criteria: organization and delivery of the presentation, specifically looking at verbal proficiency and nonverbal image of the presenters; coverage within the time limit, being concise and efficient; proficiency in answering the questions; quality and creativity of the presentation materials. The judges will score today's, the scores from the judges today will be added to the written scores that we have already, and the teams with the highest score will be awarded first place and a $6,000 scholarship. Second place will be a $4,000 scholarship, and third place will be a $2,000 scholarship. At this time, we would like to begin our presentations. I know all of the teams are very excited. With your program, we have them aligned with the order in which they will come up. So we will start with the Brigham Young University team, and I'll let them come up and start their presentation. So please give it up for them.